It didn't make Didi cough, but instead made her eyes water. She closed her eyes to stop the flow of what looked like tears. And for a minute, she felt better. Then she heard the faint sounds of a song drifting into the darkness behind her eyes. She recognized the voice. It was Kaliko. Kaliko appeared just like it had done before, slowly, like a beam of light in the dark tunnel. It was the same as before, complete with lamp, with a steady flame in one springly hand, and the magic mat tied to the thin wire across its chest. And it was singing. Didi's heart swelled up in happiness. She didn't realize she had missed it that much. But it wasn't because of missing it that made her happy. It was also because of seeing it. This now made her feel that she was not alone, and also that she was closer to finding May Kalala. She kept her eyes closed, afraid that if she opened it, her eye would water more from the green dust. She was also afraid that Kaliko would disappear, and then she wasn't sure if it would reappear when she closed her eyes again. Eventually, her excitement got the better of her. She called out in joy, "Kaliko!" It kept looking at her and didn't stop singing the song that didn't sound as lovely as the song she heard the orbs of light sing in the City of Diamonds, from where she had just been sucked out from. Still, it sounded better than anything she had heard at Obosi, Lagos, or the other realms she had visited before. Lilianila Bauchaya, Lilianila Vanuchaya, Data Waya Bauchaya, Sarulo Wia Fanuchaya. Didi listened to Kaliko sing the songs again, and even though she did not know what they meant, she sang along. As she sang on, she heard the sound of the gate opening. She was afraid for a moment and stopped singing. Kaliko stopped singing too. "Open your eyes, Secha," it said to her. Didi was overjoyed that Kaliko chose to speak a language that she could understand. She was glad that she could communicate her fears and doubts to it. The power to speak the language of your friend and even those who call themselves your enemy was greater than all the guns and machetes in the world. Her father had told her and her sibling this as they sat eating roasted yam and palm oil mixed with pepper and salt one evening. He had said, if you knew what was being said to you and about you, it helped you know who your friends or enemies were. It also helped you change what people thought about you. And if you could change that, then you could get anything you wanted from them. Didi knew she had to make Kaliko get what she wanted from it. So she spoke. "If I open my eyes, I won't see you again." Didi spoke quickly as the sound of the opening gates became louder, and she felt more scared. The sound was like something dangerous was being let out of a cage, like a lion in the Ibadan Zoo, which Uncle Iken and Auntie Noye had taken her to one Sunday afternoon. The gate had been opened while they watched, and it had made the same kind of sound, after which the lion had walked out. The lion had looked at them as they stared back at it from across the metal fence. Suddenly it roared so loud that the entire animals in the zoo had begun making a lot of noise. It was as if all they knew was that the lion wasn't an animal you could joke around with. She remembered the danger she felt just staring into its eyes. It was that danger she now felt. "When you close them, you will see me," it reassured her. "I didn't see you for a long time. You left me," Didi sounded angry. "I never left. I was always here." Its voice was calm. "You weren't. I closed my eyes over and over again, but I didn't see you. I sang the songs and you didn't appear. You left me. I was there, but you couldn't see me. Why couldn't I see you? You are not ready." "I am ready," Didi practically shouted. "You are not," it calmly responded. "If I am not, then show me how to be ready," Didi demanded. "Open your eyes, Secha," it said again. "Promise me you will be here if I close my eyes," Didi pleaded. "As long as you do as I say, I will be here." There was a peacefulness in Kaliko's voice that reassured Didi. "And if you need help, close your eyes and you will find me." She took in a deep breath and slowly opened her eyes. It took her a moment to readjust to the difference in light. Most of the light was coming from the place where the gate stood, further down the path. It was now wide open, and standing in the path, the light forming a silhouette of it was something that looked like an elephant, but it was standing on its hind limbs and what looked like a trunk was waving in the air. Didi looked closer and noticed that the silhouette had what looked like human arms, but they bulged with muzzles so big they looked like large tubers of yam stuck on the arm. In one arm was a big club with a humongous head from which jutted out sharp objects. From where Didi stood, she wasn't sure what the other objects were. The silhouette stood there, green dust rising all around it. Didi didn't know what to do. She closed her eyes. Kaliko appeared in the darkness. "What do I do?" "You walk through the gates," Kaliko responded. "But there is something scary standing in the way," Didi said. "It is as scary as you want it to be." It has a huge club and it could hit me with it," Didi complained. "And what do you have?" Kaliko asked. "Nothing," she said in a downcast tone. "What do you have, Secha?" Kaliko asked again. Didi tried to think. What was Kaliko asking? It knew she had nothing but her tiny 88-year-old self. Then she remembered what Ede had said and what the voice in the City of Diamonds had also said. Listen with your heart. So she allowed her body relax once again. She opened her mind and cleared it of thoughts. She realized it was getting easier to do. She allowed herself merge with all that surrounded her. There was no beginning and no end, no thoughts and no worries, no Kaliko and no silhouette. There was just silence. She floated in the oneness of her and her surroundings, and she listened to her heart. It wasn't long before the whisper came through, a still voice that said to her the words she needed to hear. Then she allowed herself taking a deep breath and opened up the door of her mind again, and everything rushed back in, including Kaliko and the memory of the silhouette who was still standing at the open gate. And what do you have? Kaliko asked again. I will speak of that which does not exist as though it exists. I will command the darkness to change to light, and because I believe without fear, and I do not question because I do not doubt, the darkness will obey me, and it will change to light, for I am what I believe, and I confess that I am, she said in a voice that made her sound like a 21-year-old. Now open your eyes and do as you have said, Kaliko counseled. Didi opened her eyes. Kaliko disappeared and the silhouette was still standing there. Didi squatted her tiny shoulders, took a deep breath and started walking towards it. The closer she got to it, the more it changed from a silhouette to a real creature. She could see its trunk moving and what seemed like vapor coming out of it. Even from the distance, Didi could smell it. Its odor was worse than anything she had ever smelt before. She wanted to stop and hold her nose, but she knew she could not. She kept walking towards it. She could see its skin now. It had what seemed like maggots falling out of it. Didi squinted and saw that there was pores coming out from other parts of it. There was hair over what looked like its chest, and in the mass of hair, creatures that looked like mice scurried about. But these mice had extra long snouts. Didi wanted to stop. She wanted to turn around and run away, but she knew she couldn't. This was for Uncle Ikena. She had to keep reminding herself. Baskalunda, it was foreign, but Didi didn't understand what it meant. Aloya Luinda, Baskalunda, it came again. Didi exhaled, lifted her chin so that her eyes stared into what was supposed to be the eyes of the creature, but were holes in its huge head from where a bright red liquid poured from. Then she spoke with the loudest voice she could manage as she kept walking. I am Didi Kanu, the daughter of Obosi, the one with the car essence. I am the one who searches for May Kalela, who journeyed through the Amu forest and rode the horseback of time. I command you right at this moment, in the name of all that is good and true, stand aside that I may walk past those gates. She did not stop walking and approached with the same purposeful strides. She marveled at the fact that she remembered all the words they had used to describe her. And as she got closer to the creature, it huffed and it puffed, and the stench, like Didi could not believe existed, enveloped her. She kept on walking towards the creature, and just at the moment she was about to collide with it, the creature wavered, stepped back, and finally stepped aside. Didi walked through the open gates and kept on walking down the path towards what looked like a lake at the end of the path. When she had walked for a couple of meters, she closed her eyes and Kaliko appeared. That was even better than I had hoped for, Didi said. Kaliko laughed. Were you scared? And Didi said, why should I be scared? You opened up my mind and reminded me of the words. Kaliko smiled to her, and Didi said, now, let us go find Mekalela. I need to find the song, to learn the lyrics, the words that will wake up my Uncle Ikena from the never-ending sleep.